Day Trading Radio presents a Briguy trading production.
Good evening, traders. This is Briguy on daytradingradio.com. Thursday, October 11th, 10/11/12. Just do an audio check in the room. Hopefully I got my mic working right. If you guys can just confirm that for me, I would appreciate it. Just gonna check my audio levels here. My laptop seems to be giving me a little trouble. But good to see you guys out there. Vester, I hope you're doing well. And Dr. Gas, of course. I see Bogardus there. And I know we've got a lot of activity going on with our schedules. And we got RPM flying back home from his conference that he was at. And we've got a few people that wanted to be on the show on Tuesday. Not sure if they were going to be able to get back here on Thursday for this makeup show. But as always, I try to get these recorded and set up in the members forum so we can watch them another time. So I hope that works out. That's the plan anyway. Trying to figure out why my laptop's giving me a headache, and so what I might do is just get logged in on the other machine, try to save some trouble in case something comes up. So how you guys all doing out there? Hope you had a good Thursday. We saw the markets doing its thing again, and again, and again, and again. And again. Sorry about that. Every time that happens, I thought I hit the pause button, just did not grab it fast enough. So, got the little loop back. Anyway, we can always take that out at post and make it seem like I'm a genius, right? So, 10/11/12. Anybody do anything special with those numbers today? Any stocks seem to cross over those? Be able to play out that way? I don't know. Do we have any stocks that are 1,000 points, I guess? So, tonight's episode, what are we talking about? Solo monitor trading. Why are we talking about solo monitor trading? Well, I asked you guys to send over pics of your setups, and we did receive a few. Appreciate that. I also noticed that we had some pictures in the members forum that RPM had done on a previous show, and I'd like to bring those up as well. We'll share those pictures. But we have a lot of new traders that have been showing up in the room, and I'm just getting the sense from them that they're asking a lot of questions about what kind of setup they should have, and the impression that I'm getting is that they're just getting started out, maybe sitting in the corner of the living room. And there goes my laptop finally catching up with everything. So they're sitting in the corner of the living room on a snack table, and they're trying to wrap their heads around this old trading thing. Their wife or their girlfriend's leaning over their shoulder, maybe their boyfriend or their husband is, and asking them how on earth they can possibly make money by clicking some buttons, right? But as we all have learned, if you put in the homework, you can certainly make a decent living as a trader. So I just wanted to go over a couple of things, little tricks that I found that might be able to benefit some of you guys out there. Maybe some of these will be tricks that, if you're an experienced trader, maybe it'll help you. Not sure. And we'll talk about a few different things. So what I'm going to talk about is setting up multiple windows. And by the way, this is all designed around Microsoft Windows. If you're using a Mac for trading, you can, I'm sure, apply some of these tips and tricks to your computer setup. I don't own a Mac, so I couldn't test any of these out and be able to tell you exactly what to do. But we're going to talk about some keyboard shortcuts that you're going to want to use. We'll talk about setting up some alerts, and we'll also talk about some third-party applications outside of your typical trading platform that you might make use of to help you with your trading. So let's see how that works out. As always, I have the chat room, the member chat room up, so when you guys come in, if you want to get my attention, you can either send me a private message. It should ding when that happens, and I'll know that you've got a question. And if you want to send me a link or something you want me to share with the group, there's a secondary chat name in there. That's the Briguy on air, and I see Tomahawk's already making use of that. So just feel free to post a link there, and if you've got any last minute pictures you wanted to share in that way, we'll get them on the show as well. All right. Tomahawk, you're asking me about how to set that up. You basically just log in a second time. That's all. From another machine. I think you can do it from the same machine too, but I'm logged in at 2 different machines at this point, so that's how that happened. Okay? Alright, so first thing is, I'm going to just manipulate some of our screens here. Let me shut down the PowerPoint presentation that we had early on, and I'm going to move some of my windows around and bring the video display over to the larger screen. So, what kind of computer setups do y'all have out there? Well, I'm going to share some pictures we got from some members. Maybe you've seen some of these before. And actually, while I'm thinking about it too, I'm going to move this over to another window, and we'll get to some of the pictures that RPM had on the other show. So here's a couple pictures that we're going to have to show you from the other screen in order to get them to come up on the screen for you. Alright, so hopefully these are coming out on your side. Here's a picture got sent in by a member, Charlie Baker, and appreciate that setup. Trying to remember, one of the members included some detailed comments about their setup, and so I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but obviously you guys can make use of multiple screens in one situation, and then maybe you have to go on the road for the day, or you got a doctor's appointment, or you're babysitting, you're house sitting, you got your other job came in and they need you to show up at another outfit for a couple days, and so it's kind of hard to box up your 30-inch monitors and take them with you on the road. I mean, there's ways to do that, but for the most part, you're probably just grabbing your laptop and hopping on the road, right? And guess, I'm in the same boat with you, buddy. In fact, I grabbed a screenshot of that. I'm going to see if maybe I can make a list of all those programs, see what he's been up to. So here's the setup, and the reason I'm sharing this with you guys, if you've been trading for a while, you've probably figured out what you like, and you've got it set up the way you want it, and that's great. But maybe this will give you some other ideas. So typical setup here, this guy's got his TV on the left, so there's a way so he can keep an eye on the shopping channel and see what's going on with QVC. Then he's got his desk in the corner of the room. That's always lovely, right? Staring right into the corner of the room. Don't want any distractions, right? And he's got looks like two 20-inch, 22, 24-inch monitors on the left, and a larger, almost looks like a 30-inch television set over on the right. And most of the flat screen televisions these days include some kind of a VGA hookup or DVI, or even if you can run an HDMI to your computer, you should be able to get that set up. And then the computer, if you can see, is actually this lovely pink color. I notice he's positioned the chair in a way so even though he's got man cave here on the left, he's interestingly has this pink computer over here. And I don't know if Charlie's around, he can defend himself, but that's alright, he can bust me about this later. So there's the computer. Likely all of these monitors are connected to that. And then here in the center is a laptop. So a couple basic things about having a setup at home, and that is if you do own a laptop, there's no sense wasting that extra, number one, screen space, and number two, the processing power of having a second connection to the internet, and able to, if your computer craps out, you can at least have your laptop going, that you can get into the broker or into the platform or the trade and be able to get a hold of things if you need a phone number or whatever the case may be. So that's definitely highly recommended. Got the boombox going over here for tunage. That's definitely a must. And so it's a good setup. So let's see what else we got here. Alright, this is Garrett, and I don't know if Garrett made the show or not. I don't see his name in the room. Oh yes, he is. I'm looking under G's. This is our buddy Fart Cake. Lovely. I'm glad he was able to get me to say that on the air. So Garrett sent in 2 pictures because apparently his room is basically a 6x6 closet, and he was unable to stand back away from the screens and the table in order to put all this into one photograph. So that he says that it is actually. So what are we looking at here? Well, you've got your typical, let's say 22, 24-inch monitor over here on the left, and I don't know if this is just a representation of what you were looking at that particular moment, but I see you've got FinViz up there, and that's a great application to have going. You've got your access to all of the stock data. The heat map is a very useful resource, and of course with the technical analysis features that FinViz gives you, that's the visualization part of the Viz name. You can bring up stocks and take a look at their trends. If you subscribe to FinViz, you can get intraday data as well. And moving on, yeah, I agree with you there, True Trader. This does look like a giant tablet, but I'm going to take a guess and say that this is another flat panel television connected to the computer, because this does look like a browser here. But I like that it's in portrait mode, and that's something that you can keep in mind. Everybody I've seen has these computers set up for in their landscape mode, and especially with the design now as kind of like a widescreen television set is the way it's been going. But to set it up vertically in a portrait mode, it gives you a chance to use it to run certain applications, like in this case where it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3 columns going of information. I don't know if the arrows are simply an advertisement on those pages or what, but we're going to take a look a little bit later about streaming news. If you use a Twitter feed, having the longer amount of space in a vertical setup like that, the portrait arrangement, can certainly make it a little easier to see some of that data. Now, I don't know how that'll work for your monitor brackets. If you're trying to mount multiple ones on top of one another, you're going to have to get a different bracket for that, I'm sure. So that's about what I pulled out of there. I see a little HP logo, and then Garrett sent over the other side of his system, and here he's got the typical 4-mounted monitors. I don't know if this is a bracket from what is it, Whiplash PC that RPM usually has, so we can put a plug in for them. But there's your 4 monitors, and then again, looks like maybe another flat panel television over here. I don't know if the TV is in portrait mode, maybe not, because I see the base of it right here. But again, you got a nice setup there. It's nice and dark, which is great for the eyes. No headaches, right? Garrett says he's got the AC going all the time. That's great. Little tin cans down here, Garrett. So no need to walk away from the table. Is that what that's about? And lots of, I'm noticing scraps of paper, highlighters, markers, pens. I definitely like to see that. It's good practice to take notes of what you're trading. And even if you're scratching it on little pieces of paper like this, you know, I mean, unless you're a genius like our buddy Gass, who actually, by the way, scored a 220 on the latest Genius exam, spelled with a Z. He doesn't need to use scratch pads, but for the rest of us normal people, it's nice to have the scratch pads there, and then an hour later, when you're trying to remember that stock you were looking at, or the entry point, or whatever it was, you got it written down. You can take a look at it. I love you too, buddy. And another thing I like is the arrangement of the monitors, because you've got your charting all set up here. Here's your audio feed running with the day trading radio site and the chat room over on the side. But then directly in front of you is your, what looks like your active trading platform. Not sure if this is, if you want to tell us if it's Speed Trader or something similar to that. That's kind of what it looks like to me. You see the level 2s over here, and not sure if you're still at the keyboard. Okay, so this is from Scottrade. Scottrade Elite is what this platform is here. And is that the same for the other charts, or are those other charts the like either IQ charts or TradeStation, something like that? So the whole thing is Scottrade Elite. All right. So interesting. You get to have these charts for probably different stocks in the other windows here, and maybe your main window here on the lower right. That's for a couple of focus stocks, and then of course once you're ready to trade, you've got that set up here in the Elite. And just guessing, because I've seen this in some other applications, is having different watch lists, maybe some proprietary watch lists with maybe hot news stocks, or ones that have high volume stocks. That could be another one. And ones that you can then click on, bring that into your focus window for trading. So just checking the notes, see if I'm on the right track here. Alright, so let's go and take a look at the next one we've got. Let me just X this out for a second. And here is our buddy Windsurfer Paul. He sent this in of his station, and I got to tell you, my favorite part of this whole setup is got to be the guitar. I really like the fact that he's got all the trading going on, lots of columns, lots of stocks going, got all of his studies set up. Looks like over on these charts he's got 1, 2, 3 studies, the volume profile, and yeah, I guess they all have those 3 studies and the volume profile. And I like the fact that you got the guitar there, just to be able to pick up and relax a little bit, entertain yourself, and be able to calm yourself down maybe with anything that's going against you, but or just to take a little mental break. So that's nice. And you know, we need to do something like that, whether it's whether Gas decides to bring up his bots and tweak them a little bit on his break time, because that's how he spends his spare moments, or if you've got a harmonica, or looks like you've got all these whistles on the wall here too, Paul. Unless that's something else. It's kind of an interesting setup here. Been trying to figure that out. Didn't really. Not stalking here, all Paul. Do like the airplane as well. And it's good lighting he's got too. It's by the window. I don't know if it's the second floor. I like the hardwood. And again, got a pad, paper, pens, calculator, and that's what a good trader is doing. Keep himself organized. I did not give you a picture of my setup because it breaks all these rules. Plus, my desk is a mess. I don't want anybody to see it. So, and of course, before we go on, we have to show the master control room, which, if anybody has been on previous shows, they may recognize whose trade station this is. Cockpit, as somebody put it in their message. But in this case, to be fair to all of us, this is not just for trading. This is RPM. Of course, if you're new to the show, RPM is the resident IT guru, and besides having his own very successful IT business that he has a lot of the systems over here to control and to monitor, he also is the backbone of daytradingradio.com and provides all the support for the site. And any updates that have been put into place over the last 4 years, actually. He celebrated his 4-year anniversary with Day Trading Radio just a couple of days ago, if not yesterday. I'm not sure. But this is the setup he's using for monitoring the site as well as watching trades. So nice hookup there. Likely you're looking at a 4-monitor bracket number 1, a second 4-monitor bracket number 2. This top monitor looks like it's got its own mounting bracket into the back wall. And RPM's not just an IT guy. I mean, he'll run a welder better than anybody, and he very likely could have built some of these brackets and got them installed. And then a basic 2-monitor setup over here. So that is a nice little setup to work towards, if that's what you'd like to do. But if that's not you, then maybe in your situation, give me a second and I'll get to another example. And it's showing up in my other monitor, so I guess I'm going to have to scoot this down. Oh, I know what I can do. Let me put this in, instead of preview mode, I'll put this in a list mode. And that'll keep this a little. So maybe this is the kind of setup that you feel like you have at home. So you're just getting started out and you're not really sure what to do. And maybe you really do literally have a giant tube monitor for your system. That's Tommy's saying that's him. I'm just gonna try to reset my laptop page here so I can get caught up, because I feel like I'm like 30 seconds behind of what everybody's looking at. But yeah, some of us have limited machines here, and we're just getting started out. Or maybe you've got a setup like this, an early version of a desktop computer. This is actually the first computer that RPM owned. I was able to get this from him early on. But you're trying to make things work. You want to have you want things to work out in your trading, and so you might have seen other traders, and you're trying to figure out how to be successful. And maybe this is the kind of trading system that you think you need to run, where you're in a room with a bunch of other traders, and you think that's what trading is. I'm just clicking away. I'm banging on the keyboard. I'm buying, selling, buying, selling, buying, selling. And maybe if I remember after the show, I'll tell you what. This is kind of interesting where I got this picture from, and I'll tell you what that's about. And in fact, that could be a little trivia for you. It's a hint. It's not related to trading. But anyway, or maybe this is the kind of setup that you're picturing when it comes to trading. That it's just loads of machines, loads of phones, and just trying to keep up, right? Dapper Dan nailed it. Geek alert. Very good, Dapper Dan. Did I show that on the name of the title? No. So you pulled that off. Very good. Very good. But we're going to talk tonight about trading with a single monitor. And as I kind of teased on another show, that maybe this is the kind of setup that you'd like to build yourself up to, where you've got yourself a nice 60-inch monitor to work with. You've got a maximized keyboard, and you got plenty of retail space. And then maybe even you upgrade, you get yourself these bonus screens off to the side, right? Or maybe you're saving up your pennies, and you're trading, Apple in the Apple scalpers room with those guys, and you're looking to get a setup like this, where you're ready to go. Maybe that's for you. But yeah, that was actually a music studio. But whatever the case may be, the show's Tools of the Trade, and we talk about the fact that there are all these tools out there to trade with, but the bottom line is they don't mean anything if you can't figure out how to use them. If you happen to be well off and you can go out and say, you know what, I'm going to get into I finished my other career and I'm going to become a trader, and I've got myself a 100K account. I'm going to start off with that, and I'm going to pay some RPM maybe to come over, pay him 50K to set up a major system for me. And maybe he gives you something like this. Well, what good is all that going to do you if you can't keep an eye on the whole thing? I mean, this is kind of a really cool setup, to be able to trade with. But like some of you are saying in the room, it's sensory overload, right? You're just going to completely blow up. And is that 34 monitors? I don't think that's 34 monitors. But yeah, quite a bit to deal with. So, and I forgot, I wanted to check out the members forum and see the other software, the other pictures that RPM had posted, and now I'm trying to remember where I saw it. Let's see, maybe it was in the after hours shows. Special shows, and this stinks. You know what? I had it in my mind to bookmark it, and I probably bookmarked it and then completely forgot where I bookmarked it. Don't you hate when that happens? So give me 1 second, guys. I'm just I'll bring this over so you can see where I'm looking. Maybe this was it. Was it the hardware? No. And let's see. Member showcase. Share your hardware. Maybe this was it. Here it is. Assorted photos. There we go. That's where I saw it. Okay. So let's see what we got here. Maybe if I maximize this, we can get. bring that in like that. Maybe you could see a little better. So I don't know whose these are. This was just posted in that website, and you know, again, you've kind of, in this case, got yourself set up with a circle of monitors, and here's a real necessary trading tool, and that is the desk-mounted steering wheel. I take it as a way to steer your way through the markets, but no, I mean, everybody's got different ways of taking a break, and if that's the way to do it, you go for it, right? I don't know if anybody's in the room that this belongs to, but again, you know, I see multiple keyboards, so if you've got multiple computers or a laptop, here's a laptop on top of a filing cabinet. I always love having that set up. I've done that plenty of times. There's a way to go. Let's see. Did I? Oh, I see what I did. All right, let's come back to here. And here's another setup where you got yourself the nice comfortable chair in the corner of the room. I like this because it's facing out of the corner, a little more feng shui, so to speak. So you're out of the corner, and you've got looks like mounted on the arm of the chair, maybe, or maybe it's looks like, is that going down to the floor? But you've got a laptop with a screen and a secondary monitor over to the right. This is an awesome setup, and you can do your trade in that way. Maybe there's a phone on the other side. Here's the notepad stuffed in the cushions. So that's the way to go, right? All right, let's see what else we got. Number 3 is basic system with 2 monitors and a keyboard. And again, I like the notebook. Spiral bound. I like the pages are worn. That means there's a lot of writing going on. There's a lot of flipping back and forth with the pages. Some sweaty arm prints getting laid in there. So that's all good. Let's see what else we got. That's the 3rd. Here's the 4th. This is nice and clean. I don't know if this person is out in the garage. I see a pegboard, and there's your air conditioner right behind the monitor. So that's great, blowing that cold air, keeping everything nice and cool. Got the desktop off the floor. I like that too. Not so good to have the desktop sitting on top of your carpet. It's a good way to get that static electricity going. And now these might be smaller screens than some of us have today, but this is great. You know, he's got multiple watch lists over here, or she. I'm not sure whose screen it is, whose setup it is. And if you guys know whose it is, you want to call it out, get my attention. I want to give credit where credit's due. But there's a nice setup. I like the different colored post-its, etc. over here. So that's nice. You got, this is really good over here. If I can see correctly what I'm looking at, this looks like charts that have been printed out and then taped to the cabinets, likely for some reference in another way. That is a nice way to do it. You know, get your charts out. We talked about this on another show. Print out your charts. There's nothing wrong with that. Look at them at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, whenever you do your homework. Get those charts printed out. I like the black and white printout because then you can take your highlighter, your colored pens, your markers, your crayons if you have to, and get yourself labeled with your notes and your price levels, and be ready. You know, trading isn't necessarily about what you see at the stock market and people buying and selling in micro moments. It's not about a bot that is doing thousands of trades a day. Sometimes it's just about getting yourself prepared and being ready so that when the opportunity comes along, you seize the opportunity. I think a good example of that is with the shows that Gas has done on his automated trading system through TradeStation. In some cases, the automated system has taken, what is it, Gas, like 6 trades in a day? and turns a pretty decent profit. Sometimes it may trade as much as 10 or 12 a day, but you don't need to have yourself going crazy trying to figure on ways to scalp the market thousands of times. 10,000 trades a month. I started off trading with somebody that put that in my mindset that was, at the time that was prop trading is what we were dealing with, and that's there's a way to make money that way. I'm not saying there isn't, but it's not the only way to make money. Let's see what else we got. Okay, so here's somebody with a single system. You've got the single laptop going, your basic screen. I don't know if this is an HP or what. Got the headset going, and out on the sun porch. Nice little view. Got the outdoors, good lighting. That works. Cup of joe, some books. Looks like UPS just dropped off some goodies. Let's see. I think I went back too far. Let's see what else we got. Here's a setup for, what do we got here? One monitor in the center. Here's a laptop on the right. I don't know, looks like another laptop on the left, if I got the perspective right. Got your fax machine going right here. I guess you must be faxing in those trades, so getting ready for those important trades. Here's your Dell. Looks like this person does not like to peel off those temporary plastic covers. Got to keep that stuff protected, right? Here's the electric pencil sharpener with the wire all wrapped around it, but ready to go. And looks like the printer over here. This looks like my printer with a whole bunch of stuff piled on top of it. And probably my favorite part of this whole getup is the fact that you've got nice little, is this a stove or a slop sink over on the left? That's a good way to have things all at your fingertips. Let's see, we're getting live breaking news here. The presidential debate. So if I'm going to be losing some viewers here, I'll understand. But the debate's about to start in 15 minutes. And again, this is October 11th, 2012 on daytradingradio.com, Briguy's Tools of the Trade. And we're going over single monitor trading. And right now just taking a peek at some other setups that folks have on the site, other members that have shared out their stations. Now here's one that almost seems to rival RPM setup. You've got, let's see, you've got your 4 monitor bracket over here, another 4 monitor bracket over here. Here's another single monitor mounted up on a nice, I don't know if this is a custom built wood frame here for it. And it looks like maybe the TV receiver right there. And I don't know if that's a camera coming down, keeping an eye on things, maybe looking behind him, making sure nobody's sneaking up. That looks like a nice little setup. And over on the right, here's another keyboard. I count 3 keyboards here. And we got a 2 monitor setup on the right. So this is a good setup too. And you got distributed programming by using multiple computers. And of course, in some cases, you may even have multiple internet connections. Depending on what kind of a setup you have and how much money you have invested in your portfolio. If your trading is that important, then there's no shame in having yourself a DSL line and a separate cable line going. It's a little extra money a month, but it also helps you. If one goes down, the other one's likely to be up. So, you know what, Gas? I totally missed that because here in Jersey we have a town named Watchung, and I just read right past that. But if you happen, no pressure, but if you happen to be watching and you want to bring us any breaking news during the debate, you can either Skype in to the show. You can find me under Briguy Trading, or if you want to simply text in the room, we'll be happy to take your notes and see what's going on with the market. Maybe we'll switch up to the ES chart and see what's going on. but if you want to be the man on the street, it might be interesting. All right, let's see what other setups we got here. Here's a single monitor setup with a nice size monitor. Looks like a Mac computer. I don't know if that's the 30-inch Mac or not. Might be even the all-in-one machine they make. But again, I like the post-it notes and the access to the masking tape. That's probably to cover up the bad trades, right? When things aren't going so good, you just throw some tape on the screen. That'll make things better. But no. And by the way, that's another thing. Sometimes when you're trading, is not to have your P&L on the screen. That's another technique. If you've got a plan for your trading, then have your plan laid out, and don't be so focused on the P&L, because it can actually take you out of a trade that you really, if you're holding to your plan, that you shouldn't be out of. So, and it sounds like gas is looking to be traded in this debate. Very nice. A master debate trader, you might even say. So here's another view, and this is from the other side. I like the view here. So I don't know if this person lives in the city or just happens to have a very tall building that he lives in. But yeah, you picked up on that, Airman. So this is a nice setup. 3 monitors. You're not dealing with any kind of brackets. I like the glass table. It's got a nice clean look to it. You got some twist ties for the wires, so everything's out of the way. Looks like over on the floor here, based on the wiring, perhaps there's a laptop sitting over on the corner of the desk. So that's a nice setup. You got the light, good lighting coming in the room. That's always nice. Light coming over the top for those late night trading going on. And looks like some course books over on the back wall. Maybe some trading books. I like the little bowl up on the shelf. And what is it? Stitch is the name of the creature over here. I forget. This is what happens when you don't have kids watching Disney films these days. And then you got the wall space. So again, here's post-it notes sitting up there. That's a nice setup. And let's just move through some of these others here. And you guys, I'm sure, have seen this on the other show. Here's another one here. We got the 3 screens, nice keyboard, and nice laptop going. So you can move into the other room. And especially, I'm liking in the background here is a well-stocked liquor cabinet. Very nice. Some Sky Vodka. Looks like some Malibu rum. Like to know whose setup that is. Get together with them. And here's another setup. Not sure who this is, but we got the laptop here, right at the dining room table. This is what I'm talking about. Maybe that's you. Just sitting there at the dining room table. You got your keyboard. Your laptop set up. Maybe you don't even have a secondary mouse, but you're eating and trading. Strong possibility, right? Let's see. Here's another setup. 3 monitors. Looks like a single computer probably. Got the remote there, so you can probably have the TV off to the side somewhere, maybe the other side of the room. And behave yourself, Esther. And you've got the notes again. I like the highlighter. Things are figured out. Got the glasses, the reading glasses ready to go. Post-it notes on the screen. Very nice. Here's the security camera. Keeping an eye on, let's see, that's not these monitors, so maybe keeping an eye on another trader. I'm not sure. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a nice workstation. Got the Fanta going. And the 3 across and the 1 up top in the middle. That's a nice setup. So you've got your main focus in the middle with your day trading radio going along. I don't see Man on the Buffalo, so I'm not sure what he's watching. It's not the chart at that point. and he's got the multiple charts set up. And I like that in these charts, having the stock name prominently displayed kind of really helps when you're sitting back to remind yourself which stocks you have going on. And take a look at this setup, because here's some setups that we'll be talking about on in a little bit, is having either multiple grids set up on a single screen, you have that here as well, or having a watch list on the screen with your multiple grids. So those are different ways of doing this. Okay, and I like that there's a whiteboard over here. He's got Akamai written out, and here's a couple of stocks. So even if he's got Scratchpad too, or she does, and having the whiteboard there, that's really handy. Let's see. There's a lot more pictures here than I remembered. So these are in the members forum. You guys can take a look at these. Here's again multiple charts or multiple monitors and a laptop. Here's another setup, 4 monitors and a laptop. And what I'm going to do is paste this out for you guys. Yeah, fart cake. I didn't know what that was next to the Fanta either. That it was some kind of syrup. I don't know what. I didn't see what you put it on, but let's see. What did I miss? There's a nice trading setup. Laptop, double laptop in the corner of the garage. And I'm just sorry that we don't have a nice full view of the bike here. But this might even be, I don't know if this is somebody's personal garage or a commercial garage. That roof looks like it goes out a little bit further. And yeah, the AC blowing on the computers is definitely helpful to keep them cool. This person just has a nice view from his trading. Here's looks like 4 monitors connected to that keyboard, and then a laptop over here. Let's see what else we got. This might be the same setup, just showing you how you can fit all that on a single desk. Okay, and this looks like the same one from the other view, with a nice little. It looks like the basement dwelling here. So let's just check some notes here. All right. Appreciate the feedback, guys. Just trying to keep this casual. Let's see. Here's a nice setup. Pretty well organized. Look at the notes, the highlights. Your setup isn't just about the computers, but you got to have all your other tools, right? You got your calculator. Don't you have a calculator built into the software? Well, sure you do. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with whipping out a piece of paper and pencil and keeping track of things that way. I like the beer stein here. I know it looks like a wine glass, but maybe that's for beer. I want it to be for beer. And stack of paper shelving there. Let's see, did I miss? Oh no, we got that one. Here's a nice setup here, large television screen being used with the computer. That's really nice. Here's a smaller monitor here. So that's a way to make use of these things. Let's see what else we got. Here's a nice busy workstation. We got 2 desktops on the floor, at least 2. I see the 2 keyboards, and we've got probably the 1-2 monitors here with the one up top. On the right, you've got the one here and the one up top. And I like the keyboard shelf being used for some notepads. That's nice. A little caution for you guys is when you got your baseboard heater, when your computer is very close to the baseboard heater, make sure that you're getting enough air circulation. You don't want to have computers that are sitting right next to one another, because you should have some ventilation. And on this case, you've got the looks like maybe the router or the cable modem on top of the computer. Those also need to have good circulation. So just keep that in mind. If you have multiple computers and you've been noticing performance issues, sometimes that happens when the computer's getting a little overheated. And you might hear the CPU fan going, a distant humming sound. That's what that is. It's the CPU is actually running so hot that its own fan is turning on to try to keep it cool. And if that fan never turns off, then that's because it's never getting cool enough. So just keep that in mind. Maybe if I don't know if this guy's got a fan on the floor, maybe blowing on here, helping the circulation. But I'd scoot this computer over just a little hair. Might help things out a little bit. And keep those links coming. I see we have a couple of posts in the room. I'll be happy to share those out. Here's a nice comfortable seat. That's another thing, guys. Have a seat that's comfortable. The last thing you need is to be throwing your back out because you're sitting on a crappy chair. Have something that can recline. You should be able to pick those up pretty easily these days. Here's a nice setup with at least 2 computers, and third, you got the laptop here. So definitely lots of screens, maybe a TV mounted in the corner. That's pretty good. And let's see, losing track of where I'm at. Here's another setup. I see again, looks like 2 computers on the floor, and this is good. They're away from one another. And I don't know if that's directly on the carpet or if that's on a plastic cover, but be mindful of that. You don't want to have the computer sitting right on the carpeting. And again, for circulation purposes as well. What else we got? 4 monitors across. That's a nice setup. Multiple keyboards, multiple mice. And there are systems, by the way, and RPM's done shows on these in the past, where you can have 2 computers, but have 1 keyboard and 1 mouse that you can use to go between them. So it depends on what you're trying to accomplish, if that's an interest to you. And here's a view from the other side of that setup. And yeah, that does look like it's the carpet tiles. So just a caution to keep computers off of the carpeting. They're not a big fan of electricity, static electricity. Here's another setup. 2 monitors here with the keyboard and a laptop on the left. And what looks like a tube monitor over here, running the news or something like that. So that's a nice setup. Got the, I don't know if the lamps are turned off so the picture would come out differently. But it's also important to have good lighting where you're working. And I swear somebody added photos to this page before I got here. So you could take a look at these a little bit more. Alright, got a desktop over here. 3 monitors, laptop. So make use of the laptop, guys. A lot of people figure they're going to use the laptop on something else, but hey, it's another machine. Make use of it. Let's see. I don't know, is this a desktop computer up here? That's a pretty nice size one. You got your 3 monitors. I like the little shelves, little wooden shelves. I don't know if that's an IKEA item or what, but that's nice. Maybe a TV up in the center on the back wall. Let's see, got the CD tunage over here, ready to go. Looks like a Brother label maker and markers and some lemon water. Nice setup. And I could tell from the reflection we've got some windows in the room there, good lighting. That all helps. Here's a setup in the corner again. 6 monitors, maybe 1 computer. I see, well, maybe 2 keyboards. I do see multiple mice, maybe even 3 mice. So that's a good setup there. And let's see where I leave off. Right here is another shot. There's that machine. Man, that's a pretty awesome machine there. Looks like XIG Mater. I don't know. Does that ring a bell with anyone? Pretty substantial machine there. I wonder who this might be. So, the man himself, Johnny Rockstar. And here's your demonstration. Besides the look of exasperation on his face, he's got a comfortable chair, good lumbar support. Not a simple $10 chair he's picked up. He's got himself a decent chair. Got to invest in that. Looks like maybe a TV with a DVR on the left, running his television shows, and maybe that's a computer. Not sure. And then he's got his multiple monitors. Looks like he's got one here with a keyboard, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 amongst the other screens. Of course, in Johnny's case, he's not simply trading, but also running the show. So he's got to have monitors for the audio levels and the website and things like that. And especially, you got to like the clean look. The walls are not busy. The lighting is good. He's got the indirect lighting going on, and that helps too. And he's got plenty of room, so he can move this chair back and do those high-tick Thursday push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. Not sure what he's doing these days with those. Maybe he should get himself some bars mounted over the door so he could do some pull-ups. And of course the microphone he's got going right there. So there's a little look behind the curtain. Here's another way to trade. I don't know if this is, again, this was from one of RPM's shows, so this might be his demonstration of the, here's a iPhone, it looks like, separately, one of the Droid phones, running, let's see, I don't know if that's a CNBC logo, but that looks like a mobile app trading platform, and then of course over here is the browser. So that's another way of trading. Here's another station. This one with 8 monitors. And here's the day trading radio up over on the side. Here's a setup with 4 monitors and a laptop. And this looks like it's even one of those mini laptops. So whatever size you got, it helps, right? And again, I like the whiteboard. Whiteboard setup with some price levels, looks like written in there. And this might be one of the other traders from another angle, but nice to have yourself with the nice window, bay window, and be able to open the window, get some fresh air. Need to have fresh air every now and then. Air the place out. And we're back to another setup here. Nice multi-bracketed system ready to go for another monitor. So we've got 7 screens here, maybe 2 keyboards and a laptop over there. Here's another setup with 4 monitors, single keyboard, there's the computer, and I'm not sure either it's that tall or it's sitting on a platform so that it's off the floor. So that's pretty good. And here's another full setup with a desk, 4 monitors. Let's see the 1 keyboard, 2 keyboards. So he's got the 2 keyboards, he or she, and we got the surge protector in there. That's pretty decent. Got the Rolodex going. Something about having a Rolodex. I miss those things. Trying to find a name in the phone just isn't the same as just flipping through a Rolodex. Here's a setup with 8 monitors, and basic kitchen table, right? With the brackets mounted on there, single keyboard, and looks like the computer sitting up on a platform. So that's the way to go. Got the router right up against the monitors. Another thing you want to be mindful of is the amount of interference that's coming off of monitors sometimes. I'm not saying they all do this because they're building them with buffers now, but you do want to be mindful of any kind of interference that your monitor may have on with all the electricity and the the hertz that's flowing back there, and having a router sitting right there. So be mindful of that. And let's see, that was that one again. And here's a serious trader. Just a little humorous photo there with the pet. Very nice. But you got the monitor off to the side. And let's see, one, maybe two keyboards, another screen there. So that's another way to go. And here's some future traders. It looks like getting ready to trade something. Not sure what part of the show that one came from. So let's just look real quick at some of the links you guys posted here, and I'll show that to you guys. Let's see, that was the one I just showed out. Here's one from member Highlander saying that this is a link for some bargains on screens, I guess. Okay, so you guys saw that on the in the link on the website. Let's see what else we got. Gas was sharing this one. This is a program that will let you run a core temperature test on your computer. And oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta expand the window there so you guys can see what we're looking at. That would be helpful. Sorry about that. So here's the core temperature site, and looks like you got the program right here. Reads your CPU and gives you your max levels, and if you've got a dual processor, gives you that information as well. It's a good little tool. In fact, I'll book that one for follow-up. And finally, we've got Bogardus. Oh yeah, this is the multiple computers with a single keyboard and mouse. I think RPM's talked about this on a past show, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm not sure if he reviewed it or what. I know it was on when he was first talking about it. But Bogardus, have you been using this? You find it to work pretty well? In fact, it looks like you're saying this is a free download. That's pretty decent. I don't know if it's got some kind of advertisements that they're running. It's pretty amazing if they give you that for free. You kind of figure there's something it's doing. Or maybe it's just really nice guys. Software developed with the OpenSSL project. So maybe they just some really nice guys. Alright, so that's that. Now, let's close out the browser and close out the other screens here, and let's talk about setting up your monitor for trading. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this, and one thing I'm going to show you is if you have your multiple charts. So I've already populated about 8 charts, and what I'm going to show you is how you can right-click on the taskbar. Now, this, you know what? I gotta expand the window here, or else you guys don't see what I'm looking at, right? All right. Hopefully, now this will show up, and you can know what I'm talking about. So, this is the Windows taskbar. Now, of course, I have it locked, and I have it at the top. You can unlock the taskbar here, and then you can drag it, left-click hold, and drag it to. I'll show that to you. Drag it to the right. Give it a second to catch up. So there it is on the right. And I'm still holding the mouse down. You can drag it to the bottom, which is what many people are used to seeing. And you can drag it to the left. So any one of those 4 areas, you can do that. I just I don't know, a few months ago started putting it up on the top because of some of the programs I was running that were taking up space at the bottom and covering this up on me. So anyway, when you have multiple windows opened within the same program, as I do here, they end up becoming grouped together on your taskbar. And I didn't think about this until now, so bear with me, but I believe there's here's an option in the taskbar properties. I right-clicked on the taskbar itself, just any one of the empty spaces of the taskbar, and then I picked properties, and that brought up this screen. And on the first tab, the taskbar tab, is an option that says group similar taskbar buttons, and that I have checked off, and that's why these 11 windows in Thinkorswim are being grouped together in this one tab. If you don't have this set, and by the way, I'm using Windows Vista on my system, and this is something that is available on Vista and beyond, having them grouped like this. If you have XP and you don't have any of the add-on features that would add this into it, then what will happen is your taskbar will fill up, and then a small double arrow will appear over here, and there'll be a second row of these buttons, and you would have to click the little arrows to kind of scroll between them. So you want to have this kind of configuration. And we talked about in other shows how to get multiple windows. In Thinkorswim, there's a pop-out button that lets you do that, and most of your platforms have ways of creating multiple windows. Add a window might be the setting that you're looking for. So in this case, what I've done is I've taken 2 of these windows and moved them to a second monitor for the demonstration. Okay, but I'm going to show you what happens with the 8 of these. And let's see, I'm saying 8, there's 11. Oh, because I had the ES I opened up for the show, so that's sitting on another monitor. So it'd be the 8, these other 8. So I'm going to right click on, and I get a list of options here. Okay, Cascade, show windows stacked, show windows side by side, minimize the whole group, or close the whole group. So let's see what these do. Alright, first we're going to do Cascade. Okay, it just finished cascading. Now what it did, and I'm just going to move this one manually out of the way, but I'll tell you what it did. You can kind of see what it did. It put one on the screen and then put a second chart offset down a little and over to the right a little. Then it did that with the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then it took the 8th one and started over again at the top. It moved over a little bit. So let me pick Cascade again. Alright, I did it Cascade again, and now it started from the corner and threw all these out there. So that's one way that you can have multiple screens on your, or multiple windows on your screen at once. Of course, if you do this, then it makes it a little difficult, because here you are in Apple. If I click back the second chart to get to JBHT, it's now covering up the Apple chart. And except for the fact that I know the Apple chart is there, I'd have to click over here to the right and make sure I don't click the red X, but I'd have to click over to the right, or maybe I'd have to click over in the bottom in order to get the chart to come back up. So cascading has its purposes, but for our demonstration it's not exactly a helpful tool. So another choice we have is show windows stacked. So let's pick that. Okay, now it took our 8 windows and divided the screen in half, and then put half of the windows on the left and half of them on the right. So this is stacking. They're kind of stacked one on top of one another. If you had Windows XP or Windows 2000 going backwards, then this might have been called display them vertically. Okay, and then the last option you have here is show windows side by side, and you'll see how that is displayed. So now instead of starting from the top left and going down, it started from the top left and built these to the right. Now here you see where this becomes a little more useful for your trading, because now you've got multiple charts on the screen that you can see at once, and it gives you a place to start with. If you decided to, you can find the pop-out buttons. Now, because of the way this is zoomed in, I'm not seeing it, plus I have the font stretched out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is use the maximize button, which is, you've got the red X in the corner, in the middle is the maximize button, and on the left is the minimize button. So I'm going to use the maximize button. This will open this window up and give me my pop out. So I'm going to do a pop out, and let's pick another stock, maybe Baidu. I don't know if I have a Baidu already. I don't. And then we're going to pick a 10th window, and let's call this one, how about IYT? Okay, so now I've got these new ones I've created, and they're kind of covering up one another. So I can click on this again, right click on it, and pick my show window side by side. And now again, look what it's done. It's taken them and given me the 2 columns here of 3s, and then a column of 4s, because I had 10, so there wasn't really an even way of distributing those across the screen. But this is how it works. So if you happen to have, what was I going to say? All right, let's say I got rid of one of these. Let's get rid of Baidu. Okay, and now I've got this empty space. And then I went and did the stacking again. Now look what it did. There's 9 of them, and so it evenly distributed the 9 to fill the screen. So that's another way that you can make use of this. Now each one of these stock charts is its own window. It has its own window controls. You can get to those controls either by the 3 buttons that are here on the right, top right, your minimize, maximize, and close, or if you click on the little icon, in this case it's the orange Thinkorswim logo, and you left click on that, then you get a drop-down screen, a drop-down menu, which includes your minimize, maximize, and close, but also gives you a size and move option. Now generally speaking, you don't use size or move because you have your mouse. I can resize this with the mouse, and you probably already know this, by just moving the mouse to the edges of the window. And in this case, now this sprint chart, I can left click and move it up and make it larger. I can move my mouse to the bottom of the window. It becomes a double arrow. I can hold the left mouse and move it down. And I can do the same with the left, and I can do the same with the right. Also, if you put your mouse in the corner of the window, notice how it changes. Here it is, an up-down arrow, and then as soon as I get near the corner, it changes to a diagonal arrow. So that allows me to stretch this both to the left and upward, and then I can move to the right and downward. Okay? So now I've got one window which is a different size than the other 8, and if I wanted to put this back in place, you could resize this and get it to fit back in there, or you can simply come up here and tell it you want to have them side by side, and it puts it right back into that empty slot of where it was before. Another thing you should understand is that the window has basically 3 settings. There's the minimize, there's the maximize, and then there's the current setting, the size that it is now. So for example, if I maximize this, now it fills the entire screen. The options in the top right have changed. Now it's minimize and restore and a red X. Okay, restore down as it says here. If I were to click the orange menu choice over there, there's my restore again. minimize, and this time maximize is grayed out. I can't pick maximize because I'm already maximized. Okay, so I'm going to just click into the chart to get rid of that drop down menu, and I'm going to click on the restore down, and notice what it does. It puts the sprint window to the previous size that it was before I clicked the maximize button. So for example, if I shrink this down to this size and I hit maximize, now it fills the screen. I hit restore, and now it's this smaller version, the size it was before I clicked the maximize button. Now again, I could right click up here, show window stacked, and it'll reset it back to the size that it was earlier. Another way to maximize, and this is sometimes a way to save you some time, instead of clicking this button here, the maximize button, is if you point to anywhere within the title of the window. So that would be anywhere from the S over here to just before the minimize, and you double left click, it translates that into a maximize. If you then go to that same bar, again not pointing to the icon on the left and not pointing to the minimize, and you double click, it behaves like a restore option and puts it back to where it was here in the center of the screen. If you're trading with one monitor, then what you're going to want to do is remove some of these charts and make use of the center part of the screen for your trading. So for example, let me bring my main platform screen back up here, and let's go to the trade, and let's go to what do I want to go to? Well, this is the active trader screen, and we can actually then, I'm going to pop this out. That's what I want to do. So here's my pop out button, and then I'm going to minimize the main screen, get that out of the way. And now that I've got the pop out, I can turn off some of these things. So let's turn off the time and sales. Let's turn off this chart, that chart, that chart. We'll leave the level 2s. And now what we'll do is change the size of this window. And move that to there. And there you have it. Here we have an active trading window. We can throw in a stock here, and the level 2s are showing up down here. And right from here we have all the tools we need to trade. The buttons are here for buy the market, sell the market, join the bid, and join the ask. Join the bid would throw in your price at 88.80. Join the ask would throw in your sell price at 90.22. Okay? You don't need to concern yourself with the bracketing system, the active trader ladder, unless you wanted to. In this case, I have a bracket set up, so when this is being placed, then it's also automatically putting stop orders in on the other side. But however way you have this set up, these buttons that are up here are programmable. So I can go into the wrench that's right here, configure button, and I can turn on additional buttons. There's the let's see, we have join the bid and join the ask. You can just put in at buy the bid or buy the ask. Those could be your buttons. I have a flatten now, and I have a cancel all button already in here. You can add a cancel buy button or a cancel all buy and cancel all sell. You can also have a cancel with the ... that means that when you click that, it's going to bring up a menu that's going to ask you, what do you want to cancel? Do you want to cancel all of your buy orders, or you want to cancel all your sell orders, etc., etc. So there's a whole bunch of buttons here that you can put in here to customize this for what you want. And this could be the way you trade. A third thing that you might want to add to this is a watch list. So let's take a, how do we get to a watch list? Well, let's see. Let's go back to our main platform, and let's see. Let's expand this and pop out a watch list. So there we go. We got a watch list. Minimize that. And minimize that back down. And here you go. You can put that right in there. There's your watch list. In this case, I have the watch list set up with a link. We talked about this on another show, is how you can use these link options here. Maybe you want to link this to your order. Put this at red. Put this at red, so that as you're watching your watch list, you pick Intel, and now Intel gets populated down here, and you can watch the bid and the ask for Intel. Maybe you want to make one of these charts an Intel chart, maybe the one here in the top. So how is this helpful? Well, I have this set to a monthly, but you can switch that to a minute, and maybe you've got day trading radio in the background. You know, you can have that playing. It doesn't need to be on your screen. You could just have the audio going, and someone in the room is suggesting that there's some news going on with Intel. Maybe you hear Mr. Topstep, or maybe you hear Ben making a comment about it. So here's Intel. What can you do? Well, we just went over this. Double click the bar, expand it, take a look at the chart. Now I reset these charts so they don't have a study set on them right now, but normally you'd have a study set going, and if you did your homework, perhaps you've added some notes on this, and you got some price levels already mapped out for yourself, so you can see where it's hitting those price levels, right? And you can then double click this, put it back in that spot, and get ready for placing a bid. Maybe you want to place a bid for a different price than what's listed here. Then you can do that as well. You can actually double click this and bring up the ladder so that you can see. I don't have this on auto center. That's another feature for the ladder, but you can pick your price targets. You feel like it's moving down, pick the price target and buy it at that lower level. Whatever works. And Garrett, yeah, I see a question you got there in the room about Mr. Land and his site. I believe he is with Benzinga. So if you go to benzinga.com, actually from the daytradingradio.com homepage should be a link that'll take you there, and you can take a look at that. Alright, so those are ways that you can set up your screen with your multiple charts, with your trading platform ready to go. Now, what are some other things you can do? Well, we talked about, and early on we said we talk about some keyboard trading. What do we mean by that? Well, every platform, well, I shouldn't say that, most platforms, so I haven't evaluated every single one of them, but most platforms have a keyboard options for doing your activities. So in this example, I'm going to show you that if you are on the main screen here, and in the upper right side there's a setup button, and this should work no matter where you are. If you're in trade or analyze or scan, it shouldn't matter. The setup option has a choice for application settings, and that's what we want to get to, the application settings. And here in the application settings is a tab for hotkeys. So the hotkeys are something that is grouped in these different sections. You notice the checkboxes here to enable these particular hotkey groupings. Okay, so in the first section you'll notice the tabs that are across the top: monitor, trade, analyze. Each one of these is accessible with a control and a number. So if I wanted to jump to the charts tab, I can hit Control 6 and it'll jump to the charts tab. In fact, if I cancel out of this and bring you back here, and if I hold down the control key, you will actually notice on the screen, it might be hard to see because of how small it is, but here, I'll move this up here, and let's see, I don't know if I messed something up because I had the dragging that window. Okay, there it is. So now you can see that if I hold down the control key, the numbers even appear there for me. So if I don't remember what they are, of course they're numbered according to the position they are. So if I hit Control and 6, it switches to the charts. If I hit Control and 4, it switches to the scan. So that won't take very long for you to get used to. What else can you do? Down here is another section called Active Trader. And I can tell my computer's getting tired already, so it's not responding to my clicking here. So give me a second. I did charge my batteries on my mouse, so I'm not sure why it's behaving like this. But I'm going to do the old unplug it and plug it back in again kind of thing and see if that'll take care of it. And let's see. Okay. Alright, it was almost back in control, and now it's frozen up again on me. We are having technical difficulties. Please stand by. Alright, this isn't normal, but I do have a problem with this computer and my mouse, and it's a wireless mouse, so I don't know if it's interference or what. Anyway, so here is the Active Trader. Now what you can do here, and I don't remember what the defaults are. I think I've changed this from the defaults based upon another platform I was using. But just focus on these few here. Here's buy at the market, Shift B. Buy at the bid, Shift Q. Sell at the market, Shift S. Sell at the ask, Shift P. Now take a look at your keyboard, and you'll notice there's a reason I picked those particular letters. Where the B and the Q are in relation to the S and the P are. Okay? So the buy market, buy, you know what, I didn't change these. These must have got reset back to default, because now I'm realizing those letters aren't making complete sense. Shift B is buy at the market, and Shift S is sell at the market. So, okay, there's your left and right. So you've got the S and Q, and the B and the P, and you can actually move your fingers over those keys and have your pinkies on the shift keys. And what will that do for you? Well, if you're back here with your trading platform, and let's say you just happen to want to scalp a stock. You know, some of you guys do that. It's earnings play, and you're buying in and out, in and out. Now, I have the auto send turn off, and this is a live platform, so I don't want to. I guess the market's probably closed on Intel, and it wouldn't work that way. But I can hit Shift B, and you'll notice it brings up an order window. I can hit Escape to get rid of it. I can hit Shift Q, You know what? I hit Control Q at first, so that messed that up. And Shift Q is telling me that the stock order must have positive limit price. So obviously, because it's after hours. Oh, I changed it to Q. All right, let's bring up something that's open. Shift Q. There you go. So here's Shift Q, and it's popping up an order window with the buy at the ask. I think we had that set at. Okay. So if I strictly am using the keyboard, here's my point. Shift B, I can place the order. Escape. Shift P, I can place the order. Escape. Shift Q, I can place the order. Escape. If you set up, and forgive me for not testing this ahead of time, I think I've got the wrong letter set up. But my point is, split this screen for yourself. Have buying the bid or market price on one side and selling the ask or marketplace on the right side of the keyboard. Pick 4 keys, whatever keys you want to pick. Have them near each other so that you can put your fingers on the keys and be able to use your keyboard to buy and sell. Now, some of you younger folks are really good with the mouse, and you can make use of these buttons to do that. Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. Okay? You can put the auto send on and then have it so that when you click the buy, it automatically places the order, and then you can sell, and you can use your flatten and make use of all this here. So you don't need to have multiple screens in order to make that work. You can do it right from here. If you're a certain kind of trader, you might even be able to just use the volume levels over here to figure out where your price levels are and trade from that. In that case, maybe you might even trade off of one screen like this one. Move the level 2s down and just trade off the ladder. Or maybe there are some presets up here where you can have a single chart. Here's an ES chart, and let's see, I have it at 5 minute. So maybe you're scalping at the 1 minute. Here's your active trader, and in this preset, it went back to a couple of these buttons instead of the ones that I had added in here. Let's see, template. No, that's for the orders. But I think I have my template set up over here, which is my E-mini. No, that's not it. Hang on a second. Here we go. So this is linked, that's why it keeps bringing that up. So let's go back to ES, and again, this is Thinkorswim, and multiple applications out there have features like this. I've got the 1 minute daily up on the top left. In the lower middle, I've got a 2-day 3 minute chart. Here's a 5 minute chart. Maybe you even change this, since we're after hours, you go into the aggregation type and make it a tick chart, and maybe put it to, instead of 133, maybe you go to a 512 tick. And I'm just going to expand this a little bit so you can see it. Maybe you don't need to have the MACD on here. Let's see. Studies, delete. Where's my delete study set? No. Alright. I'm going to have to go into edit studies and wipe out the MACD. Here we go. So that gives you a little bit more real estate. So you've got the level 2s here on the left. You've got 3 different charts to trade from, your ladder, so you can place your bracket orders. You see how they're showing up on the side. Set your multiple triggers. This is a single monitor that you can use, and you're totally trading from it. Okay? I'm going to probably spent too much time on the, not too much, but just more time than I anticipated on the the photos there. There's a lot more than I remembered when I was prepping for this. Okay, another tool to show you here, and maybe you use this in conjunction with the watch list. I'm going to change this chart over here and show you how to do that. And actually, we're going to drop that off, and I'm going to duplicate the watch list window here to give me a second one. We'll put this one over here. And this is a feature in a lot of platforms, similar feature in Thinkorswim. It's called Use the News. It's the second from the top here, and it's considered a gadget. This little icon next to Use the News is a gadget icon. It lets me choose between a lot of different things. There's the watch list you might be most familiar with. There's also the television. Here's CNBC when that's running. You can watch that. They've got some break time stuff. If you want to play Tetris, you can do that. I haven't played it, so I don't know how that works. But let me show you the Use the News. So here's Use the News. Now I'm going to make this a little bigger just for the demonstration, but you can compact this to how you want it. This has multiple categories. There's 4 basic categories. News movers. So here you have like the most active stocks. I'll move this over so you can see the listing. Most active stocks, pre-market stocks, extended hours. You can turn on after hours. And then what do you want to watch? You got ETFs and stocks, midday closing, stock price is up, stock price is down. Maybe you want some events, maybe some upgrades and downgrades you want to have. Okay, so I'll turn those on. You notice they're in different colors. In the green side, you've got watch list reports. We'll turn that on. And then you've got this yellowish, tannish color, and it's got all the different sectors. So maybe you want to turn on the tech sector, the pre-market sector. Okay? I'm going to save that, and here you see they're on the screen now. Now what does that do? Well, let's look at, for example, our upgrades and downgrades. Okay? You notice there's a number of listed here, 10 stocks. The first handful of them are shown on the screen, so I can actually go right to them if I wanted to. Or if I click the 10, it populates this window over here. Now here's where, as you're using this, you can resize some of these things to give you some more room. And if we use this now as sort of our watch list, we have the different columns here. So we're on the upgrades, right? And here's a list of the upgrades. New York Times, Schlumberger, Goldman Sachs. To the right of this row is a little blue arrow. And when you click on that little blue arrow, it brings up the news item. So here's the news. New York Times, 11:51 a.m. The New York Times is upgraded to overweight from equal weight at Barclays Capital. It also raised its price goal to $11 from $9. So if you've got this on your screen, you don't have to have this side of it expanded. You can have it shaped like that and just be ready to go to it if you want to. Oh, I double-clicked by accident. When you see these numbers changing, you can take a look. The yellows are ones you haven't looked at yet. I believe I've looked at some of these. That's why they're turned off. Yeah, see, as I'm clicking them, it's dropping off the yellow. But if I expand this a little, then I could read what's going on. So here I'm at the watch list reports, and here's a few. I can see what's going on with RT, Ruby Tuesday. 4:17 p.m. After hours regular session. It's down 7.4% after hours versus 0.5% regular session. And DRWI must be a related stock as well, besides Ruby Tuesday. And you can close that and come back to here. Here's DWRI. Hit the little arrow, drag and wave, and there are those percentages. So that's how that works. So play around with this. You can turn on and turn off different categories if you like, and then keep this off to the side on your screen, and when you see some of the numbers changing, you can check it out and see if it's a stock that's one that you wanted to look at. Another thing I wanted to mention about the watch list that I forgot to bring up, and that is making use of the sorting on the watch list. Now let me bring up a watch list that I have, kind of just a whole bunch of stocks in here. Now normally this is displayed without any kind of sorting. It's mainly, I have this sorted alphabetical, so the dollar sign shows up at the top and then the forward slash shows up next with these various future products. But if you're looking at the market in a different way, maybe you want to know which particular stocks have changed in a greater way. So for example, here's net change. I can left click on net change and this will resort the column. And what I did now is it put the one that moved the most, in this case it was the Dow Industrial Average, is now at the top. Apple is next, Priceline is third, Costco, AutoZone, and then Cummins. So here's a way to find all the ones that are moving downward the greatest. You can hit the click on net change a second time and it resorts it the other way. In this case, we now have Google, the NASDAQ market, and the ES market that's sorted. If you're using the Use the News feature, and I don't know if I just covered that up. Let's figure out where that went. Use the News. Oh, it's on my other screen. That's what happened. If you're picking the Use the News, this has a market change column. You know, I could have added that to the watch list, but you can have, let's say, this pre-market movers list. So there's 111 on the screen. It's a lot to look at, but you can click on the market change and get the ones that have moved downward the most or upward the most, and then you can make that a focus and find out what's going on with it. Here's Clearwire, move 70%. Click the arrow. Here's a little news item. As of 9:03 a.m. This looks like a general report on the jobless market. So Clearwire must have been mentioned somewhere in here, and they are down here. 22.3% shares also on the move due to the Sprint buyout. So either a competition sympathy play, or I'm not sure if Clearwire and Sprint have a deal that they're with one another. Leap also moved up 1.7% in sympathy with Sprint. So that's a way that you can make use of your space, sorting the columns so it draws your attention to different things right away, and making use of your watch list in that way as well. What's another way that you can maximize your screen width or screen size? So here's the watch list. Let's move that out of the way and go back to our eight stocks. Let's see. Oh, you know, I closed some of them out, didn't I? Ended up changing them into other things. All right. So we'll keep the watch list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to maximize these now. Let's minimize the group. That should throw them back in there, and use this cascade option, and I'm going to expand these. I'll have to do this one at a time, so bear with me while I do this. And I'll show you the reason why. So these are a lot of different windows. To kind of give you an extreme example. Maybe you won't have this many windows open. And now I'm going to maximize them. And as I do that, they basically are being put one on top of the other. And trying to keep track of which ones I'm leaving off with. Okay, so that's a good representation. So there's roughly 13. I do have a couple opened in the other monitor, but roughly 13, let's say 10 or 11 that are here on the screen. And again, this is something for Windows, and it has to do with the keyboard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the Alt key, and I'm going to hit the Tab key, and you'll notice what comes up on the screen. This is a window that represents all of the windows that are on the computer right now. So for example, there's a couple that are related to the broadcasting software I'm using. There's the 13 windows that represent the Thinkorswim windows. Here's a couple of Google Chrome windows I have open. The Microsoft Explorer, Windows Explorer that I had open, and then one that represents just the desktop itself. You'll notice one of them is highlighted. So I'm going to hit the Tab key, and you should notice that it's cycling through the different windows. I'm holding down the Alt key, by the way, and this is moving through all of these windows. If I hold down the Alt key and the Shift key together, it moves to the left. Okay? Now I'm on Use the News. That's this tab right here. So I'm holding down the Alt key still. I'm going to move it over one to the Amazon chart, and then I'm going to let go. There's my Amazon chart. Now if I quickly hit Alt Tab and let go, I'm back to the Use the News chart. If I quickly hit Alt Tab and let go, I'm back to the Amazon chart. So here's a way with my keyboard and quick buttons I can flip between two windows. I now have maximized my screen space with a single window, and I have basically doubled my monitors by being able to view the two of them quickly and switch between them. If I hold down the Alt key and press the Tab key twice, I go to the third window, which was Google. Now I hit Alt Tab, I'm back to Amazon. Alt Tab, back to Google. Alt Tab twice, I'm back to Use the News. Alt Tab twice, I'm back to Amazon. Alt Tab twice, I'm back to Google. You see how that works? Now I can go 3 times, I'm over to the CL chart. I tab 4 times, I'm over to the Sprint chart. I tab a few more times, and I'm actually looking at the screen, and at the top of this window, it's even showing me the name of the window that's highlighted. So if I'm lost track for some reason, I want the ES, I'm back to the ES with the Active Trader section. I'm looking for another one. Where's that IYT? There it is, IYT. Let go of the Alt key, and boom, it's jumping over back to here. So here's a way you can make use of, and you know, the drop down just happened by accident, but if I hold down the Tab key, I can switch between all of these windows. Now, of course, the more windows you open, the more processing has to take place to show those windows, right? So keep that in mind, that you don't think that you can just have 1,000 windows open, one for every stock, and you're going to be good to go. You know, you'll have to check out your system performance and see if it can handle that. But once you do have multiple windows, and if you can keep track of them, I'm just quickly hitting, I don't know if you can hear me hitting the keyboard. And, you know, just mentally I might be able to know which ones are those charts. Now, of course, you may not have all these other applications open, so. But that's how you can switch between them. Now you can also, once you hit Alt, hold down the Alt key, once you hit the Tab key and it brings up this window, you can use your mouse in conjunction to pick on the next window. And that'll bring it up. Okay? So that's just another way to do that. Of course, if you're using the mouse, you can even come up to the drop down. You can pick it that way too. I mean, that's probably the way that most of us have used the mouse for. But just kind of sharing with you, especially if you're working on a laptop, you're going to find that that's a great way to flip between the screens. And now, if you've done that, here you are at Sprint. You can, if you have this set up with the grids, because I used the Cascade feature right before this, and that became the restore point, that Cascade size window. So why don't we do the grids, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here's the grids, and let's pretend I maximized these now, one at a time. I think it's easier if I come up here and do it. IYT, the second ES, that's on my other screen. I'll just close that down. There's Apple, there's JBHT, there's City, Sprint, CL, Google. Oh, did I do it? Okay. We already did Amazon. I think we already did use the news, and we already did Maine. Okay, so now they're all set up like that. So now if I go and I'm flipping between these, and let's say it's the ES that had the active trader on, and we say, oh, what was that other chart? Now you can minimize it or restore it back to its previous position. Of course, we wanted this down here, and you can go back and see what's going on with this other chart behind it, maximize this, and get back into trading. Use your Shift Q to bring up. I just got rejected. That was my buying at the market order. It didn't work. Oh, you know why? Because this is on auto send. That's what happened. Instead, I get it like that. That's what I want to see. Confirmation. In this case, I want confirmation. Those are just a couple of ideas for you. Now we're coming up on the 10 o'clock hour, and that's usually where I start wrapping up the show. So what I'm going to do is hold off some of these tips for another show, and those have to do with using alerts for your trading, and that includes audio alerts as well as email alerts or text alerts. We'll talk about that, and we'll take a look at some other applications that are out there that will give you news information or other types of pop-up type information that will help you with your trading. So I hope this has been informative. I know we had the major news going on today with the debates, and I kind of pulled some of us away to that. But I hope you found some of this at least mildly of use for you guys. And we did share some other tools that we can use with our trading. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap the show up here. I will leave you with the ES chart and maybe with a few tunes for you to enjoy as we move into the after hours here. And I'll let this run for a little while, and then we'll put Johnny's charts back up. RPM should be landing in about an hour, so we wish him the best. knowing him, he might even have his phone on the plane and keeping an eye on things. He's pretty good about that as far as keeping an eye on things. And thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate the feedback. As you know from the postings on the daytradingradio.com homepage, I've added some links there for you guys to take you to the member forum. And if you could take a look at some of the previous episodes and offer any comments or suggestions. I also have some links in there for feedback from you guys, different websites that you find helpful that you'd like to share with other members, any platforms that you use that you'd like to see highlighted on future shows, just general feedback, because I put together some content that hopefully is useful to you guys, and if the more you tell me what you prefer, the more I'll be able to prepare for those other topics. Just to give you little coming attractions, what we're doing right now is setting up with Vancar. I'm looking to have them on next Tuesday, and Andrew from Vancar hopefully will be available, and we're getting that set up. We'll demonstrate the Vancar DOM platform as a tool and try to take a look at some of the charting software that is built into there as well. In the following week, we have a guest member who is scheduled to be on. I won't mention who that is in case the schedule changes. I don't want anyone to ever feel that they're put on the spot. I just count it as a privilege to be able to do the show, and if you guys are available to come on the show and share anything, I'm just honored to have you on. And I see Vester's still up here with us. I appreciate you being on Tuesday. And I know some other folks were looking for this show to be then, and I couldn't hang up on you. If you were still on now, just a little bit more time to pick your brain, I think, was just wonderful to be able to do. But anyway, that's what we have set up. And also in November, I am setting up with Short Trader to have their platform highlighted, and we'll take a look at their charting software. So those are just a few of the things I have going on, and I'm reaching out to a few other companies that are featured on Day Trading Radio. My goal is to have those platforms demonstrated for you guys, because they're the ones we're partnered with. You hear them mentioned the most. The folks that we're tied in with there are the most active in the room, and so we definitely want to give them a featured place. And when it comes to any platforms that you guys own that you'd like to highlight, I'd love to have you on the show. We can set something up either with a demo account, or we can share out your screen to the website and let folks take a peek into the ways that you use your software, that you find it to be most beneficial, and hopefully it'll be of interest to others. And it's not always about trying to sway people to come over to your platform or not, but you know what? The more you can see some of the features that are out there, it might get you to investigate your own platform and find out that you actually have a lot of those features already built into your platform. So that can hopefully be of help to you guys. So we see the ES here at 1432.50. It's up $4 since the open at 4:15 p.m. or 4:30 p.m. I should say. And it's kind of funny, even though that's a $4 move, it sure looks kind of like a slow drift, right? Here it gapped up above the 200 period and just kind of slid on down. So share that with you guys, and we'll put some tunes on. I got the little dog scratching at the door. I know he wants to go out, so I'll take care of that, and hopefully get to share some of these other tips with you at another time. So this is Briguy's Tools of the Trade, another show in the books, in the can, here at daytradingradio.com. Have a good night, folks. Bye-bye.